Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the most must-see, tintertaining, tinteractive, Tinter Battles live stream podcast. My name is the Glass Tinting, film slinging, tinter breeding, hell-raising, trail-blazing, the one of one, often imitated, never duplicated, the voice heard by millions around the world. My name is the Texas Squeegee for a very tintertaining and exciting episode as we kick this one off. Now, there's not a lot of people watching. So for those that are watching this live in a living color, we are trying something different. We're live streaming to Instagram for the first time as we kick off right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Instagram live stream podcast. We are live on 3 different platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's the first time we're going live on all 3. So if you are watching this, drop a comment wherever you are. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what you guys have got to say. If you're on Instagram, let me know that you are watching this so that I know whether I could see the comments from here. This is the first time we're doing like a mashup of Instagram with YouTube and Facebook. So we're trying this out here for the first time. You know, there's a lot more interactions going on Facebook than we typically see on Instagram. So we wanted to bring it to the audience here that is connecting and interacting with a lot of the content that we have. So actually, let's do some sound checks and stuff before we get this going. God, dog, Texas Squeegee should have done this a long time ago. I think we're okay. Sound quality and everything. Let me make sure if anybody's watching this here. Okay, we're getting some viewers here. Let's see, drop that. Hello. Come on, let's go get some comments here going. Drop a comment here. We're trying out this Instagram live. This is the first time we're doing this. I got to put this out there on the Facebook's accounts as well. So bear with the Texas Squeegee here just for a second. We have a full roster of teams that we're going to be releasing for Tinter Battles coming up here. So that's going to be a part of the show. Also, later on today, we're having none other than a former world champion of window tinting, Ricky Miller, here joining us in the podcast about 20 to 30 minutes into the show. However, in the meantime, we're trying to get this thing kicked off and get this broadcast and put out in front of people. So bear with the Texas Squeegee while we deal with some technical, not difficulties, but technical, I would call them leaps, since we're going live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for the absolute first time. All right, cool. We've got some people here. Ricky Miller says, sounds good. Commented that at 5:01 p.m. Central Time. We have David Clark here of DW, Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, Texas Squeegee. From YouTube. Wow. YouTube there of all places. Hey guys, thank you for joining us. Ricky Miller right here is going to be joining us live here this next time. However, with Tinter Battles being in less than 2 months out, we added 6 more teams to the team's roster. So to go back and sort of explain what's happening, explain what actually went down whenever the Texas Squeegee and Tintertainment released the positions there for the team's auto. 72 hours, all it took for all of them to get fully reserved. There was a lot of anticipation going into it for this, this next go around in 2026, January 10th and the 11th. So in 72 hours, everything got fully booked. However, there's a lot of people that were, there was actually a few that were really persistent on trying to get in. So I didn't want to leave it up to chances on the systems having like system errors and things like that. So those that actually reached out and were persistent with it, we wanted to make sure that they got in, so they were able to get in. With that being said, there were 6 new teams that are going to be released and revealed here before the end of the show. So Jordan Shady J, welcome to the podcast live stream broadcast. God, oh, that's a mouthful right there, even for the mouth of the South, the Texas Squeegee. Jordan Shady J Jernigan there. He's going to be, says, sounds good, looks good. Hey, Jordan, if you want to join the live, man, let me know, and I will send you an invite, and let's kick this thing off. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do that anyways. 1 second here while I send this off to Shady J of the Dark Truth podcast, one of the competitors for Tinter Battles coming up. No stranger to Tinter Battles competitions. He's competed in 2022, competed in 2023. I'm not sure. Shady J, you're going to have to remind the Texas Squeegee if you competed in any of the ones that we had in 2024, which I think you did heat ring battles. I don't know if you did Squeegee battles, I believe, and flat glass battles. I'm not sure. Sounds good, but looks good is questionable. Ricky Miller, I don't know if that is shots fired, but need the Texas Squeegee remind you, I am not competing, so no need to fire your shots at Texas Squeegee, all right? But if you want to fire and go one-on-one with the Tinted One, hey, then come to the Mr. Tinter Battles himself, and you got yourself a battle. We have Fernan of the B-Load of Tintal, Fernan of B-Load Signs and Designs, no stranger to competition, multiple-time competitor, always crushes at every competition here joining us. He is going to be representing Team Max Pro at Tinter Battles. And Fernan says on Facebook, he says, hey, Jordan Shady J joining. I got third in the windshield competition with Letha and competed in the Squeegee and Flat Glass battle. So again, Jordan Shady J Jernigan, no stranger to competition. At this point, he's basically a veteran of battles, as he's been, I think, to every single Tinter battle since it's his initial establishment in 2021. And Ricky Miller says, of course, there's always a reason. Well, hey, man, I'm looking forward to having you on here, and maybe we can hash this out. Maybe we can chisel the spec that maybe the Texas Squeegee and Ricky Miller has here live in front of a Tintertained audience. Tints by Rico from Facebook says, yo, Jordan says, I won't be able to join you today. If I had heads up, I would have. Hey, man, that's all right. This is how we're running the show. Very, very open format. By the way, if anybody wants to join, you know what? I'm going to drop this link here in the comment sections. Let's see. 1 second here while the Texas Squeegee pulls this link, dropping it here like a B-2 bomber, dropping it down in Iran, and hit send. All right. Fernan says he is going to be on Team Formula. So, again, we're going to be releasing that pretty shortly. Those of you that want to join the live one-on-one with a Tinted One, I dropped the comment. Make sure that if you want to join this live, let's have a conversation. Let's talk, especially if you're competing at Tinter Battles. I want to know what your training regimen is like, or lack thereof. You know, one of the things that we saw in previous competitions, let's go back to 2021. The winners of that one for the team's auto division was Robert Moreno, Mike Norg, and Julietta Boss Lady. At the time, I don't think that they really prepared a lot in terms of competitions, but they were, you know, they had a home field advantage. They're from Houston. We had it in Houston. You know, Robert and Julietta were mobile window tinters. So like really unknown environments is where they're comfortable in. So they ended up winning there. 2022, we had the winners were Jimmy Nance and Chuck Cochran. So they won 2022 teams auto division. And one of the comments that they made whenever they won, and there was this massive eruption of celebration, love was in the air, the Texas Squeegee sticks a mic over to their face and they said, how did you do it? They said that they didn't really rehearse, and that next year they're actually going to try and put in some practice. So those guys didn't practice. 2023, right? The legendary show, the show of all shows, Amelia Island. You had a team of Mike Powell and Kyle Whalen who were not supposed to compete. They showed up to the show. They were showing up to have a great time. They ended up getting selected and nominated to compete into the finals. No preparation, a couple of beers, if anything, if you could consider that a preparation. And they went in to compete. They ended up getting the top place. They won the entire thing. So again, no preparation from any of those guys. However, I will say for 2026, the way that the popularity has just exploded, there's a lot more higher caliber competitors that have joined the Tinter Battles. And in fact, when I release the official roster, you will see exactly what the heck the Texas Squeegee is talking about. Because when I first had my eyes on it, and the Tinted One was looking it up and down, was going line by line, team by team, name by name, I said, God, dog, this sounds like the finals of any competition. But this one was a starting lineup for Tinter Battle. So again, I can't wait to be sharing that here shortly. Colin says he will join in. Hey, I'm here live on the studio, and I got producer Squeegee there on the other side. And as soon as we see somebody joining us here live, I'm going to bring them onto the live as well. So if you saw the comment with the link, copy and paste it into your browser, and let's go live with the Tinted One. Jordan Shady J. Oh, as Tints by Rico says, why the B2 in Iran? Look, man. Hey, man, I don't know. I just see what I see. I just kind of say what I saw. You know, B2's flying over, apparently undetected, dropped it. Nobody knew what was happening, and it was gone before you could even flinch. And that's sometimes, you know, what happens with these live streams. This live stream sort of kind of came up out of nowhere and was dropped. And just like that, pretty much exactly. Colin says he will be joining here, so I'm just waiting for that to appear on our side. I'm not sure if I see any Instagram comments coming from here, so we're going to find out right now. Tinter by Rico says, please explain how people become part of the battles. So it's going to be specifically to what question? Now, if you're just coming in to watch the entire thing, like you want to access the film trainings from Auto Tint, PPF, and Flagless, it's an open format training that Tinter Battles has had since 2023. Then all you need to do is buy an all-access ticket and access it there. Now, what's pretty unique about this is that it's not a traditional like 3-day, 4-day type of training program. Really what it is more of an introductory to get advanced training if you need the advanced training, or to meet other trainers and see who you can actually train with on a more of a in-depth class. So for example, there are people that are going to be there representing Autobahn, people that are representing Expel, SolarGuard. You know, we're talking like Roberta Rodriguez from Modesto Window Tinting, owner of California Tint Academy. We're having Ricky Miller, Josh Miller, the owners of Born Tint Academy out there in, I believe it's Henderson or Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm not, somewhere along those lines. Those guys will be there. They're going to be training on the ground floor. And this was also designed by Tintertainment to offer very affordable classes to people. And again, it's designed to be an introduction for those that want to get more in-depth training. This is a way where you can almost access multiple trainers and see which one you connect with. Not only that, for the never-ending debate question, what film works best? What's the best kind of film? And people always say, well, try a bunch of them out. Call the reps and get them to send you some samples. Well, at Tinter Battles, you don't have to wait for samples to get to you. You can go to the samples themselves, because we're going to be having a lot of those companies representing there on the ground floor. So how to join Tinter Battles? All you got to do is get an all-access pass, and the value is there for the, really just get the all-access pass. Now, if you just want to show up to watch competitions, there's a spectatorship pass that we created for the people that just want to do that. Now, in terms of competing, this is a main one that a lot of people ask. If you want to compete, the team's auto division is fully booked. There's no more spots on that one. Flat glass is still, I believe there's like about 3 spots left on those. And then heat shrink battles. This is the one that I can't say this enough. I can't post this enough, because no matter, I can say it 1,000 different times and it still gets asked, and that's okay. Heat shrink battles is an open format tournament. So if you want to compete at heat shrink battles, all you literally have to do is show up. You don't even need tools or a heat guns. We will have that provided for everybody. There's no additional fees. There's no additional entrances. We want to have as many people competing at this at the heat shrink battles, because every single year that we've had it, the competition gets tougher and tougher and tougher. The first one was won by Marco, the film trainer Cazorla. Second one was won by Dami. The third one was won by Avery Wells on a Tesla Model 3 windshield. And I would say in 2024, that specific heat shrink battles was the toughest one to absolutely win. So let's catch up with a couple of comments right here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm not sure Jordan Shady J Jernigan what kind of shady truth he is speaking, but sure. We have Tints by Rico again. Please explain how people become part of the battles, which we already went over. Marion says she just saw Chuck today. Chuck Cochran, the living legend, the former Tinter Battles champion of 2022. He's actually going to be one of the judges for Flat Glass this year. So actually, I haven't even posted that. So a little bit of a WikiLeaks announcement released here. God, no, you're getting it all at the Tinter Battles live stream podcast. Did you put the link in the comments? Yes, I did. I will put it there once again for anybody that wants to join. Oh, I got somebody there here. I'm going to be bringing somebody here shortly. Let's catch up with the comments here. Tints by Rico is leaving a bunch of laughing emojis. He also says kind of like take the team type deal. You can also practice a lot based on the past events. Jordan Shady J Jernigan here approaching this like a UFC fighter, like a boxer there, studying the tapes of previous competitions. And if you want to see some of the live stream, no, not live stream, some of the episodes that we filmed in previous shows, all you have to do is type Tinter Battles on YouTube and you'll see some of the long format events that we've had in the past. Tints by Rico asks, is it 2 days? Absolutely, it's 2 days, January 10th and the 11th. You will want to fly in on January the 9th. There are 2 airports that fly into that zone. That is Bush Airport and Hobby. Hobby Airport is a little bit smaller. It's kind of got more of a small town feel in the big city. It's my favorite airport of the 2. However, Bush is, you can fly directly to Bush from a lot more different places. So it depends on the kind of airline that you're flying into. Tints by Rico says, did Danny and Ronald make it on the teams? They absolutely did. They're one of the teams that are going to be there. And that's going to be really a killer team for the Tinter Battles Automotive Teams Division for the Tinter Battles World Championship titles. These dudes shrink way too fast. That's the thing. So look here, I'm gonna say something. I think hopefully, I think Ellie will be okay with it because we're all about transparency here. But last year Ellie was competing and he was actually the starting battle against Marco. For some reason, Ellie was under the impression that if you won the first round, like you literally had to stay and defend and beat everybody to the very end, which actually wasn't true. Maybe Marco got the rules confused because when we started Heat-Ring Battles in 2022, it was kind of a Royal Rumble format. Like I was pretty, like it was like the early days of UFC, man. There was like almost no rules. So whoever battled, like you basically stayed there and defended until you literally beat the entire roster or you got knocked out. The rules were adapted in 2024, but LU says that if he actually tried at the Heat-Ring Battles, he would be smoking everybody because he was paying attention to all of their times and how fast they were shrinking. So LU now says, I can't wait for Heat-Ring Battles in 26 because I'm coming to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that's going to be pretty cool. Texas Tint Lab. I will be attending for my first time in January. Can't wait. Hey, Texas Tint Lab, let me know what city you're coming out from. I would like to know. I don't think I've ran into your name so far. So I want to get familiar with where you're from. Jason Corral from Facebook also comments down. He says, I can't wait to see what 2026 brings for window tinting and our industry as a whole. Jason, I know that you've been very vocal about like you feel like we're on the cusp of something pretty big. And I have to share in that feeling as well. I think there's been a lot of strides that have been made in our Oh, I don't know what happened. There was a tinterruption there. God, dog. Whoa. Colin Sane just left as well. Man, I don't know what happened. Tinterruption here live on the Tinter Battles podcast. Odessa, Texas. That's cool. Hey, so Jason, is like, I feel like we're on the cusp of something pretty big because of the especially I can only speak from the perspective of Tintertainment and from producing competition content, really from every show that I go to. There's definitely an increase in, shall we call it, Tinterests of our industry and our career. And there's a lot of efforts being made really from the industry as a whole. You have your Modesto, California. Your Roberta Rodriguez is out in California making her efforts to promote the career of window tinting. You have Ricky Miller, Joshua Miller doing the same thing too, putting out podcasts, highlighting a lot of leaders in our industry. And then you have, the list goes on, but really like what I can speak to is the productions of Tinter Battles and window tint competition events. And that is something that has picked up a tremendous amount of traction and audience and is bringing the craft of window tinting to people that never really knew much about it other than making windows dark. Colin saying, I see your comment there on Facebook. You keep losing connection. You need a few. Hey, man, that's okay. Whenever you're ready, I will bring you on stage. For anybody else that wants to join, again, I'm going to put that stream link there in the comment sections. All you have to do is either copy and paste it into your browser and you will be joining here live. Fernan right there on Facebook says, I know they will be there. They know I'm going to be there. Fernan, I want to know, what are the chances of you placing at the Heat-Ring Battles? Do you think you're going to make it into the finals on day 2? Do you think you're going to make it into the prelims on day 1? To explain a little bit about what's going on, we adapted the rules for Heat-Ring Battles in order to increase the participation, to streamline the competition, to keep it within certain time frames, because something that's completely different with Tinter Battles, as with the types of events that we do, is like we're a production platform. It's not just a perimeter on the ground and you just have a competition. For us, like, it's a perimeter on the ground where you have a competition. It's cameras, live streaming, and it's a lot of people watching. There's a tight schedule, not only for the staff running the event, but also for production team running the events. So we had to tighten a few bolts, and in order to do that, we had to condense a few things. So the way Heat-Ring Battles is going to work now is you have a qualifier. So anybody that's entering the Tinter Battles event competes at a qualifier. You're taking a Heat-Ring Battle challenge. Many of you guys saw it whenever I was at SEMA, and we were doing this, time challenges. I did some at the Max Pro. We did some with David Kratz at the Audubon booth. We did some at Expel as well. There are qualifiers that will be had. Then at the end of the deadlines, at the end of the qualifiers, the top 16 fastest shrinkers are going officially into the preliminary rounds. Now, from those, it's set up as a head-to-head bracket system. Whichever one wins eliminates their opponent, and they officially move on to the finals. Here, 1 second. Oh man, this has been quite the day here. I keep losing connection. Ferdinand, are you gonna be joining here on the live here, man? I want to know what your training regimen is. I know, like last year, going into Tinter Battles 2024, we had the official heat shrink battles, and you said that you probably went through an entire roll, or probably even more. Actually, I think you had like 100 reps that you did before you got into the finals. And I mean, my memory doesn't serve me, super well. I know that you had some success, but I don't know why. What was the reason? Maybe you couldn't. Maybe why you didn't advance. I don't really know. So I'm very interested in knowing what's going on there. Fernan, David Carly entered the studio. Whoa! Wait a second, ladies and gentlemen, finally joining the one-on-one. Hold on, I want to see his reaction as I'm saying this. 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining the one of one, the glass and the fills and container, the trailblazing, the often imitated, never duplicated, the mouth of the South, the Texas squeegee, is none other than the co-commentator, a gorgeous face, I should say. I mean, look at that chiseled physique that only a Greek god could have done himself with his bare hands. We're talking about none other than the person from Jacksonville of North Carolina, the deadhead of deadheads, ladies and gentlemen, the fan of the Buffalo Bills, David Commentator Carly. All right, David, let's go ahead and do a little bit of sound check there. What did you think about Texas Squeegee's legendary introduction of you? Accurate, not accurate? How do you feel about it? What would you judge this if this was a commentator battle?
I think that you just went
matter what? No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to you.
I think I want you to do that for me every time I walk into a room now. Like, it's kind of, and I want like a 3-piece band as well. I mean, can we set that up too? Can we get some music for my entry as well?
That's what I think I need here live. I think I need a 3-piece band. It's kind of like would be like almost like a talk show type of setup. Man, that would be actually pretty cool. Like that. Now you're giving me ideas. Not for this show. No, but like not for this show, but I could see like at a future show. Like, how we did a Million Island and when we first kicked off the show, like I think I came out to the stage, had a monologue. We have some promos to air on the screen. And then Montana and I kind of got into a little bit of a tussle. It ended up with me getting arrested. Hey, maybe we should have something like that. Maybe the next time, whenever you can set this up in a different venue, it'll be set up kind of like doing like a podcast, but hybrid to like talk show, live band. But that'd be actually pretty cool.
I think it would be absolutely amazing. I have to excuse the audio issues. I'm off site. I'm out laying a lot of security film, and I'm actually not in Jacksonville, so I'm on the other side of the state. So,
hey man, that's all right. You're out there in the field. I think this is what makes the commentator duo of David Commentator Carly, the Texas Squeegee, the type of legendary commentary. That's not me saying it, by the way. That's the comment section saying it on a video that's close to approaching 40 million, by the way. I wanted to give you the latest update. I think it's at 39.7 million. We're talking, of course, a video of Marcus Quintana competing in the flat glass division there at WFCT, produced by Tinter Battles online. Man, that video's at 39.7. It's going to hit 40 million here pretty shortly. But dude, would you have ever noticed? Would you ever known? I had no idea going into it. This video was going to perform that way. But I mean, what's your impression? We're months removed, and it's still getting a lot of engagement and a lot of traction.
I think it speaks to the quality of what it is, right? It's definitely a humbling moment for me I'm always happy to see anyone else do well, and to be a part of it's a special moment, and there's more to come. But no, you can't project something like that. I mean, Marcus is obviously a star, and he doesn't even realize it. He has the aura, all the tangibles that people want to watch, and then you add in the flavor of you being arrogant and cocky the way that you are, and me just telling the story and us bouncing off each other. It's created something special, and I hope everybody realizes that how much passion this is for us, and how much we actually love to do it, and how much we're going to continue to work harder for everybody.
Now what you call arrogance, the Texas Squeegee calls passion, and I think that's the the what encompasses a lot of the competitors and the people that come out to shows like this. They're all passionate individuals. I mean, you don't see plumbers going out and having little poopy events. You get what I mean? Like, or like little poopy competitions. I think that's what separates our craft and our industry a little different than a lot of the skilled trades, is that there is a passion of individuals that love to come out to this thing. They don't do it for the money. They do it for legacy. They do it because they've mastered the skill. And when you master the skill, the only way to sharpen it and get better is to put your mastered skill set against somebody else's mastered skill set, just like we will see a January 10th and 11th here at Tinter Battles. And speaking of mastered skill sets, I'm going to bring here for a brief period Colin Sayin. He's been sitting here behind the stage in the green room. He's one of the competitors coming up. He was at the first Tinter Battles with his dad, and now he's coming back, and he's actually competing with his dad. So, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Sayin here from Corpus Christi.
Well, I gotta say I'm excited. Oh wait, my camera's turned the wrong way. Hang on, let me see here.
We got some Tinter.
Me and my technical difference. I'm doing it from the iPad, so.
Hey man, live in the living color. That's what it is. We're featuring everyday working people, and this is what what you see is what you get with you guys. Hey, I wanted to ask you, how are you guys preparing? Do you and your dad work on a regular, or like how are you guys preparing for this?
So he's in a different city, so that's kind of hard. But I think in between now and then, we're gonna come up with a plan to try to do something. Obviously, we have a plan for the actual day. I'm not going to say, but yeah, we have a plan for the actual day, but we're going to try to do something in between now and then. I know that we are both excited. I know I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. I can't wait. This will be our first competition ever competing on, but he's got years of experience on me, and I still learn every day, but I'm excited, and it's something that I really am looking forward to, and I can't wait for,
So I have a question for you. All right. So let's just go ahead and let's play pretend for a little bit. Let's pretend that we're at Tinter Battles, we're in the auto, kicking it off. Teams auto division, we have the Sayin Slingers, Colin Sayin, Randy Sayin there. Who, in the prelim rounds, you have to do two sides, like you have to do the front door and then the rear door of the whichever passenger or driver side that you're going to be on. But whenever we kick it off, who's the one doing the hand cutting and who's going to be laying film? Are you guys splitting that evenly, or are you assigning roles to each other?
We're assigning roles. So there's that's the small indentation of our goal of our plan.
Yeah.
So, and we've discussed that, and there's me and Dad are very hard-headed, but he's very picky when it comes to his tint, and he has it that way only because that's the way he's learned and the way he's done. And but I'm a little bit different. I'm more laid back, and I don't like to rush. But whenever it comes to the competition, it'll be, hey, I have to rush, but also it needs to be nearly perfect. The one thing that I'm worried about, and I don't know how many other competitors are, but if you damage a vehicle like in any way, shape, or form, you're out. That's terrifying, and but it's a rule for a reason. But and it makes sense because on a customer vehicle, if you damage their vehicle and it's in game,
Yeah, we're going to be putting the team's names up here shortly, but that's exactly right. Like if you damage the vehicle, I mean, that's to me, like, one of the things that when we discuss it with some of the, the people behind the Tintertainment platform, when we were like thinking, how much should we deduct for damages? And really the decision was made to like, no, if you damage the vehicle, that's disqualification. Because when you think of, somebody world class or a world champion, I mean, that to me, a damaging vehicle is mostly rookie mistakes, So like if you damage a vehicle, like you don't belong really at the tops of the heap, as one would say. But hey, the other thing too, by the way, something that's different with Tinter Battles is the judging criteria allows for people to actually earn points in their overall scores if you properly shave all of your edges. So that's something that's new for window tint competition in general. But question for you is, are you guys going to go for shaved edges?
Now that you say that, I don't know. That has to be rediscussed and redefined. For me, I don't shave edges. That's just not my market isn't there. But I know customers like it. But that's not something I've ever offered. But as we say, skills can always develop, always learning, and I know that's now industry standard is shaved edges, but there's also the people that are like, oh, well, you're damaging the edge. So there's there's that. But
Well, so to correct a little bit on that, I don't, David, and you can chime in on this one. I don't think it's industry standard to shave an edge. I think micro edging has become kind of the standard because, people like roast each other for the types of gaps that they'll leave. So I think, by process of peer bullying, I think it's sort of elevated maybe the standard for how big your gap is. But in terms of like shaving, I don't think that's industry standard. But so the reason why we are awarding points for that as well is because it's an added level of risk. However, it's a much better flawless finish, but then you're risking something. So the only really way to truly justify why somebody should go for that risk is if there's a reward that's on the other side, which, would be like the earning of the extra points. Now, that being said, though, again, with that added risk, it can also backfire if you don't know how to properly shave either. Because if you go for it and then it's a jagged edge, well, then that's going to be counted off just like a misaligned pattern as well. So it's gonna depend there. And I got Fern in here waiting here momentarily. I'll be bringing him on here shortly. But that being said,
says your comments. It sounds like to shave them, you need to win it. Yeah, and that's almost. It sounds like you got to win in order to shave. That's,
I don't know if that's totally true. I would just tell you that you just remember, in our industry, as you know this, it's always a search for excellence, right? Like you're always trying to get better. So we did a lot of back and forth and talked about this topic about how it would enhance the actual level of the competition. It's going to push some people out of their comfort zone, but it's also, if you're competing, your nerves run so much higher that a steady edge of shaving, it's going to affect everyone differently, right? Like they're not going to just be able to do it like they normally would in their environment. They're not in their environment. And this event has a way of pulling people's nerves. So I have a feeling that we're going to see a mixed bag on that. I think if you really are good at it and you want to go for it, I think it's an advantage. But if you don't and you're not good at it, then I think you have to resort back to, okay, we're going to do it how we do it every single day. And we're going to work on our cleanliness and the proper install of the back window. I mean, let's just talk about that, like as far as the bonus points go, but think about the back window you're going to be doing and the points that could be deducted for the mistakes. It's going to be tough.
Well, in tinting those, I hand cut those whenever I do them anyway. So in those defroster lines, the defroster connections on either side of those, they're really close to the where the glass lays on those. And then is it going behind the third brake light or not behind the third brake light? And then it's every single tinter is different on that. And I mean, but the shaved edge, it'll be definitely interesting. And the comfortability and that, everyone's different. So I already, per y'all hosting that training earlier last month about over there in Houston, the nerves were higher. That was for fun, and I understand the Tinter Battles is for fun, and I know it is going to be fun. And that was, my nerves were running. It was like, can I heat shrink this window? Do I remember how to do it? And I got a camera in my face. So, but it was a lot of fun.
That's what it is. And Tints by Rico there dropped a comment on Facebook. He says the edge can be damaged using the wrong file or pressure. Certain glass can easily be damaged. So I'm glad he made that comment because we want to make sure that we actually put this out there, and it will be on the rules and regulations as well. But files are not permitted. It's shaving. You can only really shave with a blade, but not a file, because a file, there's a couple of reasons for that. Sometimes with Teslas, they come with factory defected glass. So they'll have a little chip that you don't see. And once you hit it with that file, like it actually ruins the entire thing. And that's not really the tinter's fault. Like that's more of a
manufacturer defect. Yeah,
exactly. But it's like, through the process of what the tinter is using, it sort of becomes like the straw that breaks the camel's back. So for that reason, I would hate to disqualify a team that lost because of something that was out of their control. So we're not using files, but as far as shaving goes, perfectly good and perfectly fine.
Like it.
So anyways, Colin, thank you for joining the live here, man. I can't wait to see you and your dad compete. I know it's going to be a special father and son moment there. David, Carly, and myself, it's going to be our pleasure to create that moment, that atmosphere and that memory for you guys. You guys are coming in to compete, but it's going to be such a great time. It's something that's going to be talked about for a very long time. So I thank you for coming out to the October event. I thank you for coming out to Tinter Battles as well.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. So yeah, man, father and son team, they're joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got, Fernand's been waiting here. So I want to bring Fernand up here just for a second to give him a little bit of some airtime. What's going on? Hold on. Whoa, a little bit of sneak peek. Ricky, you know what? Let's do this. Hopefully we don't have too much interruptions here. But ladies and gentlemen, Fernand and Ricky Miller. I think Fernand's out there on a call there.
Te dijo que te iba a cobrar el envío.
What's up, Fernan?
Hey, how you doing? I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, he got caught in the act.
Yeah, I was talking about business over here.
Hey, man, that's all right, bro. Like, business never stops here with Fernando Sainz. And we're all obviously joined by multiple-time former WFCT champion, Window Tint podcast host, and the Window Tint Academy trainer, Ricky Miller, as well. I mean, guys, Fernan, you've won competitions in the past too, right? Like, you were, I think, the winner of a WFR Ironman, I believe.
Well, my first competition was in Tinter Battles 23. I made second. Then I won multiple. No, I don't think first place was Ironman. And then couple second place, third places, and then Ironman again. And then second place, third places. I've been there.
Yeah. No stranger to competition. Ricky Miller as well. Ricky, I think you got a little bit of the leg up in terms of your experience in competition. Do you still get nervous before you enter competitions?
Oh, well, what's up, fellas? Yeah, that doesn't go away. Anyone who says that goes away, in my eyes, is full of shit. But you always get a little jittery to begin with. I mean, having the experience in competing, how many years I've been competing, definitely does help. But the nerves never go away. I think if the nerves have gone away, I don't think you have a shot to win, in my eyes.
Man, yeah, are you doing anything in preparation for Tinter Battles coming up, or are you just doing your day-to-day?
As of right now, day-to-day, I mean, for flat glass, I'll show up and stick film. The auto, I'm going to have to, I'll work on shading some edges or just trying to get some nice tight gaps on some Teslas. The shrinking's where I really need to actually kind of get reps in. That's something in my eyes that you can know how to do it, be really good at it, but to get fast at it, that's something that you got to be doing kind of on the daily to kind of get those reps in.
Now, we're having heat shrink battles. Are both of you guys going to be in that as well?
Absolutely. I want to go against him. After sitting down with him at SEMA and kind of getting the breakdown of how he picked up his speed. Like, I plan on doing the exact same thing leading up to the competition, because I have, unfortunately, probably a couple different rolls I've been sitting on my shelf too long. So just to get through the reps, let's see how far I can push the film, work with a torch. So actually get that underneath my belt, because if we're able to use a torch, I think that makes, like, whoever can master the torch is going to crush the heat gun. That's for a certainty.
Well, sort of, but David Carley, we've seen this before. People eliminate again. It's kind of like the shaved edges thing, right? So it's like, technically higher reward, but higher risk. Fernan, you're a master of the torch yourself too. Like, what's your choice of weapon whenever the heat shrink battle starts?
Well, it all depends, because if you're really good at the torch, you can get through. But I mean, like you said, if you're trying to go fast, you can crash. It's two things. In your shop is also, you can set up the way you want it and nobody's watching. Turn on the camera. If it don't work, you tear away and put another one and try again. Over here it's not like that. It's just you put out the torch, you burn the film. That's it. You're gone. So it all depends. If it's heat gun versus heat gun, it's tough. Some people have their own techniques. Like we tried in a SEMA show. And then this guy, I think was Brian, with the put technique.
Yeah,
he got faster than me doing the cards. So you gotta figure it out how you gonna play with it. But if I gotta pull out something at the beginning, I will pull out. If they allow the torch, I will pull out the torch. It's no other way that you can get faster if it's not with the torch.
Right.
You know the rule.
I was going to tell you, Carly, say it. You got to say
it. There's one way to win, but there's two ways to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly
So
right.
like in 23, when I was doing the shrinking, that I was successful with the whatever dummy showed me with the pull technique.
Oh, yeah.
I was good with the torch. With the shrink with the heat gun. But in my mind was, if at the end I would have to battle with dummy, I would pull out the torch versus his heat gun to see what's gonna be my first time doing that. So you gotta play. If you got both tools to play with, you can play. It all depends who is the contender. If it's Ely with the torch, you pull out the torch.
Yeah.
I'll probably Ricky with the heat gun. I'll pull out the heat gun just to make it like kind of even. We try to win, but I like to compete also. So making more excitement. Probably, I go with the heat gun. So let's go with the heat gun to see what's going on. Because I like to compete. I like to be there. I like to be on the stage.
Man, something that we have been working on, and we're probably gonna, I would say, David, Carly, maybe we might have something ready for next week for official release, but a betting platform to stream Tinter Battles has been in the works here. Carly, if this was a heat shrink battle right now, Fernan versus Ricky Miller, who is your bet on?
I don't know why you always do this to me. I'm not saying a word. I think, I respect both these men so much, and you always try to put me in some kind of my back against the wall like you do this all the time. Look, I got to see how the flow of the tournament's going, right? Like I got to see who's doing what.
David, look at my name. Look at my name.
I know who you are. I know. I already tell you.
I didn't even notice that.
There's two ways to bet on that. There's if you're trying to make more money, so the odds will definitely be in my favor. I'm the underdog, so you should be getting plus odds on me. That's for a certainty. So no, he should beat me without a doubt. He should, but there's still a chance I can beat him. Like there is that.
I got a question for both. I got a question for both you guys. Let me ask that question because I haven't gotten the feel of this. This thing with Stream Bet TV, we're 99% there. This is probably going to happen. We'll do a really official release and how it's going to look and all those things. But does that put any more added pressure on you as competitors, knowing that people are going to be betting on
you? For me, I don't know. It could always, you get nervous, like, Ricky said, if you don't got that nerve when you jump the stage, you think that you have it. And if you think that you have it, it's going to go wrong. So you got to have that nerve. I think I can block whatever is happening behind me. But always, I hear people like, I don't think it's going to be added pressure, but always it's going to be pressure no matter what.
I would say, no, not any added pressure because no one's going to apply more pressure to myself besides myself.
Yeah.
And to go out there and compete, all these competitions are the same. I know I'm a little bit more loud when it comes to some of the comments and stuff, me poking fun at people, taking shots, as Carlos would like to say. It is all purely out of fun. I'm probably the hardest critic on my brother, but it's one of those things where I just like going out to compete and see what I can do that day. Majority of the people that are there, I'd say 50% or more of people that are there could win. It's just, was it your day or not? So there'll be no extra added pressure to me. For me, the pressure is I want to win outside the setting of WFCT. Yeah, I've won WFCT. I've won flat glass. Beyond flat glass, I've been chasing at least a finalist spot in auto since I started competing in 2012. So I got more pressure on me just from myself and the fact that I have something to prove to myself and I don't got to prove anything to anybody else.
Marco, I don't know what kind of morning Marco had or what type of like testosterone-filled elk he had this morning, but Marco's been actually saying a couple things. First of all, he goes, Carlos Lozaba, you better put my ass in a heat shrink battle. Someone else can record on the camera set of me. Like, well, Marco, if you want a battle, then a battle's what you're going to get, man. He also says that he has pent-up piss and vinegar itching for a heat shrink battle. I'm not sure if he's describing the breakfast he had this morning, but Marco definitely has a tap on the shoulder. He definitely won in 2022. But he's kind of a retired tinter, as I like to call it. And I think for Marco, David, commentator Carly, I think Marco's got something to prove that he still has that beast in him, that he's still that savage tinter that won the original heat shrink battles. Maybe like even though he probably works out of a comfortable cubicle now, that he could still come in and go toe to toe. Or maybe I don't know.
For him, I get it. It's not like anybody that's not competed at least once or twice or as many times as Ricky has in the past, that you don't have this competitive fire inside of you that wants you to, reach for greatness. But, like I said, some guys slow down at different times and hopefully Marco hasn't slowed down. I don't know, arrogance can only take you so far against the world's best.
I don't think he retired. No, he just under the water, like doing things, in his place in Texas, Team Masters shop.
Marco's definitely he often shoots like content off of my my shop because I designed it to be like really content friendly. But hey man, Marco and I have gone toe to toe. a couple of times. He's beat me a few, but I would say, hey, and I haven't really posted these videos. Actually, I don't even think the video really exists because somehow it was sabotage, man. It was kind of like I'm not gonna go, but I beat Marco like by a lot at SEMA. Like, Ferdinand, I actually wish you were there on the last day that I was at SEMA, man, because somebody like wanted me to put me in the heat train challenge that we were running at. Bro, I think I went 3 or 4-0 undefeated, but like I wasn't just winning. Like, I was winning, taking a break, and then calling my time. And I was like, dude, I need somebody that's actually going to challenge me. And I was hoping that you would get there, but then we shut it down. Marco here says,
whoever had it, like he was fast or good at it, he still has it. It just you gotta get you gotta get going and the itch is coming up and you start practicing until you got it again and okay, I got it. You can go compete like Ricky said. Anybody can beat anybody right there.
Well, I mean, look, David commentator Carly, I don't know what the hell's going on with Marco. He says, call me, talk all you want. I'll run circles around you, keyboard warriors. I think he's saying that knowing that keyboard warriors don't show up to this thing. So Marco's just shadow boxing with himself essentially and trying to sound tough. I mean, I don't know, dude. Between Marco, I would say Ricky would probably beat Marco at this stage.
I mean, Ricky, you answer that.
Well, no. I think I would love to go against him. I think the itch to compete for him, he doesn't get to scratch that itch because he's been a rep. He's been on the other side of the coin, and there really hasn't been a setting for someone to compete. Now there are settings for those people to compete, either being Tinter Battles or the film festival that's coming up, that Cash is throwing together. Like the reps and the trainers are able to compete now.
Yes.
Like there's no doubt in my mind that Marco would pretty much destroy everyone there. I look at him, if he's competing in anything that I'm competing in, he's the top of the heap that I'm going after. Like,
damn.
Yeah, like so I don't think that's definitely not talk. I mean, I understand the itch. Stepping away from installing the past 2 years because like I'm business, like that's why I still compete. It still hit my install. Did I lose it?
We're experiencing some technical interferences there. Well,
Marco got the signal.
Well, speak like Marco.
There we go.
I think what ended up happening here is I think somebody just joined the live or somebody's in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, how can you talk heat shrink battles and heat shrink challenges without mentioning the GOAT himself, Elio Albello, who had the fastest shrink time at SEMA at the Eastman booth with 30 seconds on half of that Tesla Model Y sunroof there. Man, I don't know. Streambet.tv is going to be the platform where if you could bet, that's where you would bet. David, commentator Carly, if it wasn't for the stupid rule that the Texas Squeegee came up with and no entertainment, working people can bet, I would put my money on Elio.
I mean, it's like for us to just tell the story, right? Like this is exciting. Everybody's getting fired up. Everybody's emotions are getting high. The adrenaline's starting to go. The event's coming up in a little over a month. Everybody's, I think they should start throwing shade at each other because it's not all about just being the best. You gotta psych people out a little bit, and that's an important part of what we do. So I'm glad. I think Marco recognizes that because maybe somewhere in his mind he feels like he's lost half a step, maybe, and he's gonna throw a little shade to get everybody off their kilter. I love it, man. I think that's what the competition's for. I me, I just about pull for everybody. I just want the best man to win and represent the platform the correct way. So I respect everybody on this panel. I respect everybody that comes in here, and I mean everybody but you, of course. And
hey man, you want to have a commentator battle? I will go one-on-one with you, David, commentator Carly.
I am not trying to do that with you. I'm just supporting you so you don't mess up constantly. I'll just clean up on aisle 3 shit I have to do.
Well, speaking of cleaning up on aisle 3, we have Elio Albello. They're firing more shots. He says Marco Cazorla has to calm down. He has a video at his shop prior to Tinter Battles 2022, where they actually formed a team of the Puerto Rican duos. And Marco apparently got lucky that his name wasn't called for the heat shrink battles at that time. So again, if I think what Elio is saying is that if he had been called, the history books of Window Tint previous champions would be different than it is currently today. And of course, Marco there firing back with himself. Elio and myself are the only people that can beat me. And then he sends a bunch of emojis, which I'm not sure what the emojis actually refer to. But I mean, again,
I'm not sure either.
The emojis, I don't know. Maybe Marco's hard to brick. I have no idea what's going on here. Here as we prepare for Tinter Battles. Marco making a comeback for the people right here. Whoa, watch the S word Carly. I'm not sure what the S word really was. I'm not really sure. Marco Cazorla says David Carly is the real life handler of the Texas Squeegee. Wait, I don't know. Again, Marco doesn't know what's left from right
It
now.
makes sense. That's
Well,
the S word. It makes sense.
Well, hey, let's go ahead. We got about 10 minutes before the live stream is going to end. So I'm going to dismiss these guys, and then we're going to announce the official teams, the final. We've got 18 teams, entering into the prelim rounds, and only 5 of them are going to advance to meet the 6th and final defending champion. So, Ricky Miller, thank you for joining the podcast, man. It's going to be a pleasure to me to watch you compete. I think you're doing the entire division, teams auto, teams flat glass, and the heat shrink battles for 2026. So, man, you got a schedule there for the show.
Oh no, I look forward to it. Thanks for having me on. To back what Dave was saying about getting in people's head. There's a main reason why I usually am pretty vocal, and then when people actually get to talk to me, they realize like, oh, I guess you could say it's a shtick online, whatever. But at the same time, I am walking in with 4 championships, 2 back-to-back championships. I have the most golds in WFCT history, so I'm not too worried about the flat glass. I'm more worried about the auto and the heat shrink. I will be coming for you, Saints, and Elu. You too. Marco, get ready. I'm coming.
Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's
Ricky
go.
Miller. There we go. Wow. So, Fernan, I mean, he literally just called it out. Do you think it's a prediction that will manifest itself to reality? I mean, or what do you have to say to that?
It's the prediction here. You pull out the gun and you start shooting everybody. That's it. Whoever got the best aim the best target is gonna win. That's it.
I love that. Fernando Sainz, every competition, always there, always representing. Finally, you'll be using Max Pro window films as well. So you'll have every advantage on your end. Man, I know you've gotten a lot better at heat shrinking since 2023. So I'm excited to see what you're going to put out, and hopefully you make it into the finals just to make the final roster that much more exciting.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for that. And Ricky, I'm coming to flat glass also. So I don't know what you're talking about.
There we go. Hey, I like Fernan. Fernan's kind of like the Habib of the MMA world. It's not too much of a talker, but the talking is done during the fight, during the battle itself, and we can't wait to see Fernan competing there. So, Fernan, thank you for joining the podcast. Thank you for joining the live. Cool, man. Hey, what an incredible 2 competitors that we have here. I mean, if either one of them wins anything, and we're talking world class men, world-class championship caliber of people there. I mean, it's shaping up to be probably the most exciting, and I can't wait really to co-commentate this with you and literally watch history in the making. Not only because we're naming new heat shrink battle champions, or we're possibly naming new auto champions, but I mean, hell, Flat Glass Battles is having residential windows, solar, commercial, and security films all in one at the finals division, which has never been done before. But
it's testing. It's going to test everybody. It's going to test them. That's
Sean G. Titman has joined the live. Hey, we're about to release the official roster. He said that he's been asleep. What did I miss? Hey, man, I hope you don't stay asleep till Tinter Battles, because what these 2 guys just put out there, man, you got to be taking these guys serious. They are not playing around when it comes to the Tinter Battles championships divisions that we're having here. Fernand's popping off on anybody can get it here. Tins Rico says, why Habib? Habib was a guy that did a little bit of talking, not too much. Sometimes fired his shots, but was humble in victory or defeat, and really did it for the love of the game, for the love of the sport, the love of competition. That's who Fernand reminds me of. So that's why I mentioned Habib there. Sean G says, let's get it. Tint Man Chris, who's joining us here on this live, says, who's Habib? It's spelled with a K, but he's Russian from Dagestan. He's a MMA fighter. He was probably one of the greatest of all times, retired undefeated. Nobody really ever beat him, and I don't think he ever really lost a round in any of his fights. So he was a guy that is very, very respectful. But when it came to inside the octagon, there was nobody that was beating him. Sean G. Tintman says, right before we go on, he goes, I'm the only competition. The cheat codes are in my hands. commentator Carly, what the heck is Sean G talking about?
He's he's trying to get his shots in. He's coming to the table now after taking a siesta nap, which should not be taking it. He should have all eyes on the competitors because they're gunning for everybody. So he better wake up. He's just he's just trying to throw some shade now. I get it. He needs to, but he needs to do it a little more timely than, hey, I just woke up. Like, come on, man. What are you doing?
Hey, that's true. And hey, look, we're about 5 minutes out from closing out. I wanted to mention to everybody, those that are still watching, make sure that you tune in to the Film Pros podcast live with Cash and Ryan Wilcox as well. It'll be going on an hour after this show ends. Now that without further ado, let's go ahead and let's bring out the much anticipated final roster of teams. So ladies and gentlemen, presenting to the stage, here we go. So let's go ahead and go through these names together. This is a team's auto division here for Tinter Battles 2026. We're starting off with Colin Sayan and Randy Sayan. They're known as the Sayan Slingers. They're a father and son team. They're competing. They've been in previous Tinter Battles, but they never competed in one. This is their first time competing, and they signed on there. Incredible team. We're going to see if that kind of chemistry between father and son is going to carry them to the championships. And win. Of course, we have Shady J, Johnny Blades, no stranger to competitions. They're joining together, known as the Shady Blades team. Eliot Bello, Byung-Yo Park, the Korean connection coming to Tinter Battles. They're, representing Team Autobahn here. Like David Carley, that's a team to really look out for. If I was competing, those would be two guys that I would be, if I'm not competing in the round, I'd be glued to what they're doing because both of those guys are championship calibers, and put them together. I mean, just get that kind of team.
Yeah, if they gel, if there's something that goes on where they gel and actually hit on all levels of chemistry, I think they're going to put the whole competition on notice.
I will say though, like Byung-Yo Park is he's well known for being really, really good at properly shaving windows. So I think that if there was a team that would probably rack up the most points in the judging, it's probably going to be these guys.
And they're going to create the most time too. Like Elio, as fast as he's going to shrink out the back window, I think he creates a lot of time that's going to give him some flexibility to really go for those bonus points. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, look, here we go. And the next team is, of course, the Miller brothers, Ricky Miller, Joshua Miller there. I mean, dude, I said this the other day whenever, I was live somewhere, actually at SEMA, and whenever they were both competing at the Whiz Pong, I came up with this like fire line that I dropped that I didn't even realize I said it until I watched it back. But I said they're brothers by blood, competitive by nature, and that's exactly what the Miller brothers, man. It's like whether they're competing with everybody else or they're on their own, the competition bone in them, the gene is always on. It never turns off, and that is, to me, really sharpens a different kind of caliber because it never ends. Like, I mean, they're hard on each other. I mean, obviously out of, it's tough love, but they're hard on each other. And I think that kind of pressure that they constantly put on each other really like elevates their game so that when they go to competition, they're really like their comfort zone is being under pressure.
Yeah, and they're siblings, right? So they know what it's like to put pressure on each other, and they're holding each other to a higher level, a higher standard. It's another combination of chemistry, and really good things can come out of pressure from a sibling. I mean, you could see them blow up on each other and still win the whole competition. Like that's these two guys. I've been around them. You've been around them. It's like fire and ice. Like they're two opposite people completely. And but their chemistry is obviously there. So it's another team. Our eyes are really we're going to be dialed into paying attention to those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, we have here the next one's Fernando Sainz, Josue Adorno. They are their team formula. I mean, Fernando Sainz, no stranger to competition. It's going to be my pleasure to see Josue compete for the first time. I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting him so far, but don't count him out. Fernando Sainz, an extremely seasoned competitor, probably has put in. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue in the last 3 years who he's had great performances all the way around. And if he picked Josue, it's for a specific reason. I think we're going to find out at Tinter Battles.
Absolutely. Fernando knows what he was doing. He's such a competitor and studies the art and trains so heavy that he probably had some kind of interview process for this, and we don't even know how he did it, but this is where he landed, where he felt that this was the best person to match what he does to win this competition.
Yeah, I mean, the next team here is obviously no stranger to Tinter Battles competitions. They competed as a team in 2023. Avery Wells, Sean G. Tintman. Both of them are experienced competitors. Avery Wells, he was the Heat Shrink Battle champion in 2024, which, to remind the audiences that weren't there, That was the toughest heat shrink battle ever. It was done on a Tesla Model 3 windshield with a competitor having to fully shrink an entire front windshield, and Avery Wells went back to back to back all the way into the finals and into the championships. I mean, he had such a reach advantage, but now they're competing in the team's auto division where they have to get through doing two-sided doors before they get into the finals there.
Yeah, it's just Avery and Sean are just good competitors, right? Like they're you just have to know that they're going to bring their A game. I mean, not saying anybody else in here won't. Sean G and especially Sean, he like works in his environment. Like they bring different skill sets to each other, so I see good chemistry there in those two guys.
Like here we go with okay, take a look at that next one here. So next one is going to be Robert Moreno, and we have Josue Perla. So Robert was the original Tinter Battle Teams champion in 2021. He won it with Mike Norg and his wife, Boss Lady Window Tint. Robert is a mobile window tinter here in Houston, Texas, so he has home field advantage. He's very familiar with the atmosphere. This is happening in January, so the weather's a little bit cooler. This being an indoor event, the climate's going to be better controlled. I would probably guess that we're probably going to be competing in 70 to 75 degree weather Fahrenheit, but home field advantage. Robert is coming in to secure his second Tinter Battles World Championships. He wants to knock out Mike Powell and Kyle Whalen there.
You know what I got to say about him is he knows what it tastes like, right? Like he's wore that belt around his waist. He knows what it means. He feels it. He tastes it. You can see it in his eyes every time he looks at that belt. And I've watched him, and it's just like, I think he's becoming ultra focused. He's showing up. He's paying attention. He's somebody that you don't want to sleep on. That's for sure.
That's exactly right. And then we have Kayla Ramirez, Alicia Yancey. Look, man, they, to me, are the future of this industry. They're probably one of the more younger competitors on the roster. They came to their first competition event, their first window tinting show in Tinter Battles 2024. Alicia Yancey had zero experience with flat glass. She got some hands-on training at the training programs that we have at every Tinter Battles, and so did Alicia, and so did Kayla as well. So to see them come back, to see their first taste in window and competitions and events at Tinter Battles, and then for them to come back at the next one as teams competing, to me is really exciting to see, because one thing that, and now I mean this from the bottom of the Texas Squeegees hearts there, I really truly do love seeing growth in people. And that is like, David, commentator Carly, I think you've known me for a couple of years now. The one thing that I surround myself with is growth itself, because I'm a firm believer that a rising tide lifts all the ships around us. So to be able to be firsthand witness of the growth from Alicia and Kayla, it's going to be a pleasure for myself to be a fan of watching it and commentating it. But hopefully, they're going to go on to inspire probably millions online when we publish these videos, because window tinting is more known for being a male-dominated industry, but we're having a growing presence of women in window film. And I think these gals that are competing are going to be a beacon of hope for a lot of people watching.
Yeah, let them two take over the top of the hill and watch what happens. Like they're it's like that we talk about the first one over the wall catches the most arrows, right? Like
that's exactly.
And that's what they're doing. They're definitely taking this on. I've had a chance to speak to them, and they're not taking this lightly. They've intentionally taken Teslas into their own shops and worked on them like multiple times. They're not playing. I mean, it's another thing. It's like this, something about this industry, the underdog comes out of nowhere and really tries to and takes over, right? So again, it's just, no matter what you think, there's not anybody on this list, and especially not them, because they have something to prove. You can't sleep on them.
Yeah, so we have the next team right here. David Kratz, the CEO of Autobahn, taking on Dave Dellinger, one of the, I believe he's probably the lead sales rep, or if not, he's the manager of the managers at Autobahn. Dave Dellinger, an OG in the industry. He competed in the very first Tinter Battles that we ever had. I believe you and him had a little bit of an exchange of words there on the competition floor when we had the first Tinter Battles in Houston, Texas. But, David Kratz, he's a person that you will want to watch, not only for his performance as a CEO. I mean, talk about how many CEOs do you still see getting in there and battling it out with their everyday tinters? David Kraz doesn't install every single day, but to see him come in and compete, not only that, he stacked the roster of competitors with a lot of people from the Autobahn team. So I think the strategy for David Kraz is a little bit different. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm going to be looking forward to hearing some of the Tinter views that you will be hosting at Tinter Battles to find out exactly what was behind David Kraz's mind when he not only put himself in as a competitor, but also stacked the card with Autobahn representatives there.
Well, I mean, I did speak to him for a minute. I had to reach out to him for a second, and he said to me, he told me he's not coming to play. Like, everybody can think and think that he's just the CEO, but at the end of the day, he's still a window slinger, and he's not playing. I mean, like, there was no pause in it. Like, hey, I'm going to have a good time. No, it was, I'm coming there to win. Like, look out. Just because I'm on this side of the fence, it don't mean nothing. I got to this side of the fence because of what I've done. So we'll see how that plays out. He picked an interesting partner. Dave's kind of like, very, he's just a rude guy. He's always talking trash to me. I don't know what his problem is, but it's okay. It's all right. I've learned to deal with him. I've learned to, put up with him because of the industry needs it. But, so what, again, Dave's okay. He picked the partner that would save him from me lashing out at him. So, we're good. We'll move past this.
Listen here, commentator Carly. I don't know what kind of testosterone boosting meals you had this morning, but you've been firing shots against the Texas Squeegee and now Dave Dellinger. Hey, maybe we should revisit your role as a commentator and put you into the battle with the mic on you, so you do double role like the Texas Squeegee did at SEMA.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit on this side of the fence where I'm safe, because he's kind of like a brutal guy. Like, I'm I only got about two minutes of oxygen, so I just, after I kicked his heat gun across the floor and it was a Steinel and he looked at me like I was crazy, it's been game on ever since. There's a lot of go into his different stories of what he's done to me and what I've done back to him and blah 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 blah, but at the end of the day, Dave is Dave, and I just don't have to like him.
Well, I will say this, Dave Dellinger, if you're watching, is if David commentator Carly starts firing his shots, you can consider the Texas Squeegee like a radar detector, the Iron Dome. I will be there defending the honor of the Switch Reaper himself, Dave Dellinger. But hey, man, let's move on to the next team. We have Dylan Turnage, Brendan Turnage. I think this is the first time coming out of a Tinter Battles. This is going to be the first time. I'm curious to see if the spotlights are going to, if they're going to be a deer in the headlights or if they're going to thrive in the spotlight,
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, we talk about this, and we don't need to monologue this or echo chamber this, but everybody's listening. If you're new and you're listening right now and you're competing for the first time, your nerves are going to get you. You're going to have to learn how to capture your nerves. Like, you literally need to start letting your customers into the back and watch you tint. You need to do things that are not comfortable, because when those lights go on and we start talking and everybody's looking at you and you're surrounded by all your peers, I have yet to see a man not shake.
Yeah. Yep. And so let's kind of kick through some of these quick, because we're a little bit over our hour, which is just perfectly okay. But we have Eric Moore, Dustin Gonzalez. Eric Moore has previously competed at Tinter Battles, and Dustin Gonzalez, I don't think he's competed, but we're looking forward to seeing him in competition. Keith Studemeyer, Les Helton. Les Helton being, of course, a legendary competitor. He's influenced hundreds, if not thousands, of window tinters there. So he's never competed at a Tinter Battle, so he's in for something that's different. Whether that different means something good or something not so good, we're going to see. He was one of the people that had a catastrophic mistake there at the WFCT, and we produced this on the Tinter Battles accounts. But a lot of positivity there in the comment section. Nobody was really like downplaying Les Helton. I mean, Les is an incredible, the legend Les Helton, of course, but again, it goes to show in the competitions, anybody could win that particular date. It's just, like you said, it's just a slide. The wind needs to blow in the right direction. The sun needs to shine in the back door, and you just never know who's going to take the championships.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to put it on, to actually do a recording, but I wanted to ask Les, because I like Les, and Les is a great competitor. And I said to him, how does this feel? And all he said to me was, "Don't worry, I'll be back." That's it.
There we go.
And it was just his common collective. So he's a competitor.
The Terminator. Les Helton, I'll be back. Wow. Tinter Battles. He'll be back on January 10th and the 11th. We have Dominique and Miguel Rangel. I don't want to spend too much time on them, but they were the last team that were added in. And what's particularly different here is at SEMA. For those who didn't watch it, go to @Tinter Battles on Instagram or on Facebook, and you'll see a lot of the videos that were posted there. I want to really spotlight a particular competitor, which is Dominique. She is a 17-year-old female in window film, female in the window film industry. Look, let me tell you something. She started in 2016. She went to Miguel's shop. Miguel is her trainer / instructor. She went to his shop at 16 years old, asked for a job. Miguel took her in. They've been training her. At 17 years old, she's competing at the Heat Shrink Battle Challenge at the Expo booth in SEMA, commentated by the Texas Squeegee. Dude, if you have not seen these videos, you have to watch them. For someone that's probably got a little bit over a year experience, you watch her and she was defeating guys who had more experience than literally she's been alive on planet Earth. So when I saw that, there's kind of like this, almost like a playful sort of not taking things too serious. But as soon as the competition started, completely different energy and vibe. I mean, she was aggressive with her shrink, and she went 3. I believe it was 3-0 undefeated streak. I mean, beating out people that had experience. And when I saw that performance, she literally had the best performance of the night. Right after that is whenever they were really wanting to compete at Tinter Battles, and I thought, you know what, this was to me one of those earned entries. That does she, to me, did she have the kind of performance that stacks up against other legends? And I would say she had the performance that literally beat other legends. So they were one of the teams here to look out for, not only in the auto division, but at the Heat Shrink Battles as well. And I can't wait for you to see her for the first time as well, man. The window tinting prodigy by every definition of that term.
Prodigy, that's what we're going with.
And next team is going to be Jason Teasley and David Williams. Talk about a roster of champions. Jason Teasley, damn near, and somebody had to correct me on this. This guy, I think he literally, had to be banned from competition because he was winning so much. I don't know if he retired on his own, out of his own will, or if they told him like, hey man, you've kind of gone too long winning. We need you to take, and we need you to sit on the sidelines. I don't really know the true story, but Jason Teasley, need you say more? Multiple time automotive WFCT champion, has never competed in the Tinter Battles, is looking to chase gold, a Tinter Battles championship title for the first time. David Carley, what do you think the odds here are for Jason Teasley for those who might be betting on him?
I mean, I'm not ever trying to like put anything against anyone else, but that guy, for some reason, everything he touches is almost damn near flawless. I mean, he's got to be a top 3. I mean, he's got to be in the top 3. Like, I mean, you just have to think about it logically. You have to look at what he's already accomplished and what he does every time he tints in any event. And this is just another trophy he's trying to put on his shelf. So everyone's on notice with him, and he put together a team that's just as strong as it can be. And yeah, I mean, what else can be said? Like, you just have certain people that you could just say, you can go through his accolades, you can talk about how good he is, you can talk about all these things. The guy is one of the damn best. Deal with it, and you'll show up and watch, and you'll see why.
Yeah, that's it. He's going to be one to beat. Of course, we have Billy Murray, Jeremy Davis as well. They're clearly one of David Kratt's handpicked competitors and teams here to be at the Tinter Battles. They're on behalf of team of the Autobahn clan there. And then moving on, we have Pete Espinoza, Peyton Castillo of Texas Tint Masters. Pete Espinoza, I would say he's not the fastest tinter, but again, when it comes to the auto division, his speed doesn't necessarily get you over the hill. It's the thoroughness of what you do. And the one thing about Pete, he's as steady as a ticking time bomb. And whenever he enters a competition, he partnered up with Peyton Castillo. And something really worth noting about Peyton, Peyton was a person that came in as a subcontractor to the shop, but he was probably one of the very few, if not the only ones, that when he came in and started slinging with us, he was almost like an instant fit. His quality was up there. He works for a lot of different shops, so he's comfortable being in different environments and adapting to different environments as well. So I think the two together, they both complement each other. Pete is very plotter heavy. Peyton Castillo is very hand cut heavy. So I think the two are going to complement each other, and it's going to be exciting to watch to see whether they're going to go for the shaved edges to earn extra points, or they're just going to micro edge it all the way and not really take on that risk.
Yeah, having an opportunity to work with Pete, like I realize how detail oriented he is, right? Like he's very detail oriented, which is great when you have like a reckless reactive hand cutter, right? Who just like go, 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 go. And then Pete can take the back roll and slow that system down. Interesting combination, great chemistry. I would believe that's what will happen there. That's another team I'm going to be watching very closely, actually.
Right. And then we have here the next ones is Alex Rosales, Christian Alvarez. Both of them have had championships in their careers. Alex Rosales and Christian Alvarez, they're both XPEL dealers. They've won XPEL dealer conferences competitions. They're forming a team. They're coming to Tinter Battles for the first time. I mean, again, no, this is a team. By the way, if you look at this roster, this list right here, every team that has the yellow line, it indicates that they were a former champion in some other competition, including Tinter Battles. So if they had some kind of win in some other type of competition, you'll see that yellow line there. And that's why you see it with Alex Rosales and Christian Alvarez. And then the challenging team, the final challenging team, of course, Danny Munoz, Ronald McCullough. I mean, we saw both of them compete at WFR independently. I think that both of their stature and physique really complement each other. I think when they form together as a team, to me, I don't, again, man, it's just so hard to say this, but it's I think when you watch this team, I think what we're going to see is well executed strategy. Just like when you take one of these clocks and you pop off the face and you see all the gears just working in perfect harmony. I think that's what we're going to see with Danny Munoz and Ronald McCullough.
I getting to watch those guys compete too. There's certain guys that you like understand or watch their nerves and their calmness. Very, very subtle and very calm guys, not to be reactive. And that's something it takes to compete on this level to bring home a championship.
Yo, and look, man, look who just joined here on the live. In perfect timing, we have the final team in the automotive division. So let's put it up on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting, one second here, the reigning, defending, undisputed Tinter Battles Teams Automotive Division World Champions, the team of Mike Powell, Kyle Whalen, Team Autobahn. Man, that reminds me of Amelia Island 2023. Exactly the way I said it. I could almost transport myself mid-stage, microphone in hand, the audience out there listening intently to be announced for Mike Powell and Kyle Williams. Do you remember that moment when I announced Team Autobahn, the massive disruption, the massive celebration of not only the competitors, not only of Mike Powell and Kyle Whalen, but of their support system? I have never, ever seen a type of celebration since then like we saw at Tinter Battles Amelia Island. I mean, talk about a crowd favorite going into Tinter Battle 2026. David, commentator Carly, are we going to be announcing and still the automotive division championships, or it's going to be new? What do we have?
Yeah, this is such a stacked card. I mean, look, they're the champions for a reason. I mean, let's start there. You got to break this down the right way. They know the X's and O's. They know what they're doing. They know the pressure. And now that they've been relieved to be the champion, it's a different pressure to defend than it is to win, right? So they're looking at this completely different. Mike is a really calm guy. Kyle is definitely the reactive, get out in front of it. That's that chemistry we talk about, right? Like two guys that are completely the opposite, but they just seem to gel together. You have to place them in the top three because they're the world's best right now, right? Like you have to say these guys can repeat. I mean, you almost saw it with Chuck Cochran and Jimmy Nance. When they're on that level, they're on that level. So all I can say is, let the judges do their job, let the scoring do what it needs to do. But at the same time, can they win again? Absolutely, they can.
Hey, they won it last time, and they were not scheduled to compete. They won one of the somebody was a nominee in one of the qualifiers, and then they I don't know who selected who, but they formed a team last minute. And if I remember correctly, they were even drinking beers throughout the competition. So
Yeah,
I mean, look, this is something about performance that for those who have never really performed on stage, or whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's fightings or anything like that, a lot of times it's the competitors who are the most relaxed going into it are the ones who end up having the competitive advantage, because it's like when oftentimes the hardest battle to really fight is the one in your head, and these guys went into it, didn't seem like they were really fighting a battle in their head. They were just having a great time, and then really by luck of the draw or sheer skill. Like, we're going to find out at Tinter Battles what really made them win in 2023. But whatever it was, they ended up winning back then, and they've had the title since then. They haven't been able to defend it. This is their first time defending the championship titles in 3 years. So I want to know if it was going to, I want to know if they're going to walk away with the belt again, or if they're going to concede those belts to a new championships. Marco Cazorla there down in the comment sections on Facebook says he hopes that a TikTok Tinter wins. I'm not sure who he's referring to as a TikTok Tinter, but I mean, I'm not sure. Marco's been firing shots this entire live stream. Maybe he's firing shots against Kayla and Alicia, the influencers in this roster.
I mean, look, they're in it. They're all in it for a reason. They're all here because they're professionals. All I can say is this is getting exciting. I'm ready for it to go down. I'm trying to contain my emotion, but hey, man, this is where the rubber starts to meet the road, and we can all starting to enjoy this because it's getting fun now.
It's like the Texas Squeegee says, this is where the rubber meets the road, where the squeegees meet the glass. The Tinter Battles 2026, January 10th and the 11th. It is so exciting to wait. We're less than 2 months out. Tickets are still available on tintertainment.com. The hotels and everything are registered as hotels is also linked on the tintertainment.com website. Just go on the website itself, scroll down, and you'll see the access links there. It's super easy. 2 airports fly into the venue itself. Please book at the Royal Sonesta. It is designed to be a one-stop shop, one-stop destination. Show up and have a great time with everybody. There's plenty of restaurants in the area. There's a restaurant connected to the hotel as well as a bar that is also there for those who are going to be joining us on January 10th and the 11th. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know what Marco's saying there. Marco Cazorla there, he's over there firing shots left and right, man. I think Marco has a lot of pent-up energy. We're going to find out if Marco's going to, flake or show up. At this point, it's kind of a flip of a coin there. You don't really know what's going to happen with Marco, but what's one thing for sure guaranteed, Marco's going to be behind the camera, capturing the action there on the Tinter Battles event there. As far as some latest updates in regarding to Tinter Battles and Tintertainment, we recently came to a partnership with Chive TV. They will be carrying some of the content that we will be producing to a much newer and bigger audience. We are currently working on a betting platform with StreamBet TV to get us listed on their website, so that people who are, who are very passionate about the competitors that they're going to be supporting, you can show your support, put a bet on your competitor, and hey, if you end up putting the bet on the right horse, you might actually make some money off of that. So, that announcement will be coming out whenever it's finally official and listed on their website, but just know that it is coming. It might be out in the next week, might be out in the next 2 weeks there. Other than that, man, we have begun the final phase of the construction of the flat glass architectural competition structures. What's different with these is that these structures are going to have residential style windows, because residential tinting is part of the finals in the flat glass battles powered by Johnson window films. The films being used is Johnson's Silver 15 solar, and then Johnson's Trident 8mm Silver 15 security films. That is going to be something that is never been seen before, never been done before. It's a first, as it usually is at every Tinter Battles show. It is historic for more reasons than one. I've been saying it for years. And Tinter Battles is something you will not want to miss live in Houston, Texas. And for those who may not make it to the show, can enjoy the live stream that we will be having on the Tinter Battles account at Tinter Battles. the social media handle. Wow. Commentator Carly. I mean, a lot going on the line, man. I mean, January is shaping up to be a truly historic moment, much like it was in 2023, Amelia Island there.
It's again, I mean, I'm on the train, man. I'm ready for the ride. I think everybody's pumped up, everyone's amped up, everyone's excited. I'm excited. I know you're excited, but you just, kind of do it in an arrogant way. But nonetheless, I just, like I think that, it's the movement of this is awesome. Again, it's really cool for me because I respect so many of the guys in this industry that are putting up their valuable time to come in and just highlight it because they're the world's best. And you know what? Kudos to them for actually giving us that opportunity to film that and be a part of that. I'm excited about the opportunity for streaming, and I'm so excited about the opportunity of betting. Like, even though we can't bet, it's in our NDA, so everyone needs to know that we're not allowed to bet on any of the competitions. We can't, we cannot.
Right. And when you say we, it's like me, you, any of the judges, anybody working the event itself, like, they're not allowed to make a bet on anybody because we're keeping it very strict and very fair. And speaking of strict and fairness, we will be releasing the judging criteria with plenty of time in advance so that everybody has the opportunity to understand what is, being judged, what the value of point deductions and points earned, which again, Tinter Battles 26, historic for more reasons than one. We really wanted to elevate and evolve the judging system for window tint competitions and allowing competitors to, in essence, take an extra risk at the cost of earning extra points or getting even more point deductions. To me, adds a level of not only craftsmanship, professionalism, it raises the industry standard. Because imagine millions of people watching a shaved edge versus a micro edge or a standard edge. I think, we might see more shops getting the calls like, hey, do you guys do shaved edges? And if you do, okay, how much do you charge? And perhaps maybe some tinters along the way, doing a couple of extra upcharges and earning a little bit of extra money there. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But hey, we didn't anticipate a lot of the celebrity engagement. 40 million views on just one video that we had in our recent production. You never know which one's going to take off like that and perhaps really move the needle in our industry towards, better education. Maybe the viewers will see more value behind the tinters and their craftsmanship. So there's no like, well, the guy down the street charges me XYZ. It's like, well, you get
I'm on Tinter Battles. I'm on Tinter Battles. I don't care.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So anyways, that being said, it's we're a bit 27 minutes past our time. It's been a great show. I didn't have any dead spots. I had a great time listening. For all the guests that joined in, thank you for joining us. For all the people that are watching, thank you for watching. Again, I don't think Cash was in here on this live, but those who are going to be tuning into the Film Pros live stream podcast, you can find it on Film Pros group on Facebook, I believe. I think it's the only place that it really is. So just go to Facebook, type in Film Pros. You'll see the group. They start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, about 30 minutes from now. So again, David, commentator Carly, thank you for joining. I can't wait to call the battle. I can't wait to commentate. I think it's going to be the time of our lives. And let's see, to address one final comment, is it arrogance or is it just having fun? Hey, at the end of the day, this is as serious as a competition gets. The best install will win the battles, but the culture of Tintertainment, the culture of Tinter Battles is very welcoming. It's relaxed. There's a reason why with the Texas Squeegee you see over the top presentation is because it is it is like the over-the-top presence that allows everybody to relax, let their hair down. And hey, even though we're here for competition, more importantly that we're here to have a tintertaining time. We're here to have a great time, create lifelong lasting memories and lifelong lasting experiences. So I can't wait for Tinter Battles 2026. David, commentator Carly, final message here.
Man, just thank you for, I love doing this with you. And I wish everyone in the up-and-coming event the best of luck, and bring your A game. That's it.
That's exactly it. January 10th and the 11th. Tickets are on tintertainment.com. Follow Tinter Battles on social media. It's at Tinter Battles all the way through. I can't wait to come back here next week live, same time, same place, different people, except unless you always have an open invitation here. But we're going to be talking to more different competitors and getting to know
Thanks.
what's on the line, what the legacy that they want to be remembered by, and what's, what they're most looking forward to in their training regimen here for Tinter Battles. So anyways, enough ranting around. I want to wish everybody a great night. I'll see you guys back here next week, and I'll be posting content here throughout the shows and more updates as they come out.
I just want to be a headlight on a northbound train, baby.
Exactly right. Going down the road, feeling good. That's a Deadhead reference from the Grateful Dead here by two Deadheads themselves. But anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. Have a great night. I'll see you on the next one. Squeegee that. And we